Propeller Head Reason might not have the most advanced sequencer feature-wise compared to some other DAWs, but it does have some other advantages like simple to use, beautiful and clean layout, and easy to learn shortcuts. This video is part of my quick tutorial series on Propeller Head Reason. Alright, at the moment I am in the rack view, and you get to the sequencer super quickly by clicking on the keyboard shortcut F7 on your computer keyboard. I call it the creative sequencer because this is the area where you will create your amazing music. To the very left is a list of all the tracks in your project, including automation tracks, as well as a special track for the transport and master section. You can easily add a new track by right-clicking here in the empty area and choosing to create, for example, an audio track, mixed channel, or perhaps a new instrument. At the top left, you have the main sequencer tools. Let's go through them one by one. First, you have the selection tool, which you use to select parts or even notes in your sequencer to move them around or even lengthen or shorten them. Then you have the pencil tool, which you use to write in new parts in your sequencer, like for example a new part, or if you are in the edit mode, adding new notes. Then you have the erase tool, which you use to obviously erase things in your sequencer, like for example individual notes like this one, or even individual parts like this section here. Then you have the razor tool, which you use to cut clips with, for example this one here, and now you can see that it is divided into two clips. And if we go into the edit mode, you can also use it to cut individual notes, like this one for example. And now you can see that this is two MIDI notes. Then you have the mute tool, which you use to mute individual clips with, like for example this one. Just hover your mouse above it and left click, and now it is muted. You can see that it is muted by this striped pattern overlaying it. Then you have the Magnify tool, which you use to zoom into specific parts. For example, if you want to zoom into this area, just left click with your mouse, drag over it, and now we have zoomed into this section here. The Magnify tool is great to use when you are in edit mode of an audio or MIDI clip. So if I use the selection tool and double click this clip, I get into the edit mode. And now if I want to do some fine editing of this clip, I can use the Magnify tool to zoom into very tightly on specific parts of the clip, like for example here. And the final main tool of the sequencer is the hand tool, which you use to navigate in the timeline with. So if you just left click in the timeline and then drag, you can see that you are navigating in the timeline. And the hand tool also works in edit mode, but here you can also navigate up or down on the piano roll. Alright, so those were the main tools of the sequencer. Then you have the edit mode, which you get to by double-clicking on any clip in your sequencer, like this. And then you can get out by clicking on edit mode, and you get back to the main sequencer mode. The next function is called snap to grid, and it basically means that if it is turned on and you drag clips in your sequencer, they are snapped to the closest grid value that you have selected here. And that takes us to the next function, which is the grid value. And here you can see it goes from a full bar down to a 64th note. So the value you have selected here affects what the grid looks like and how it works. So if we set it to 1 bar, and I move this clip here, it only moves in 1 bar increments. And if I set it to a half bar, I can move it in half bar increments. So this continues to smaller and smaller note values, and it is great to align and structure your clips with in the sequencer. Alright, Now you have learned the fundamentals of the creative sequencer, the layout of it, as well as the main tools and toolbar. I recommend that you spend some time to learn the keyboard shortcuts for the main tools in this Reason sequencer, and go through all the functions of the main toolbar as well, because you will learn best by doing. Good luck and happy music making. My name is Mike, signing out, and you rock, my friends. My name is Mike, and I share my story and journey as a music composer and sound designer to inspire creative people like you. So click that subscribe button to gain music superpowers.